late afternoon, the park, you call your dog's name. And for a moment, ears up, tail frozen mid-wag, they look right at you, direct eye contact. Then they turn around and keep sniffing, as if you said nothing. You know the thoughts that follow. They're stubborn, they need more training, maybe a firmer voice. Japs see everyone at the park has an opinion, and almost all of them are wrong. Because behavioral science has been studying this exact moment, trash, for decades. And what it reveals, trash, is uncomfortable. Your dog isn't ignoring you. They heard you perfectly, they understood you completely, and they made a decision, a conscious one, with logic you're about to understand. Let's start with what your dog actually understands. In 2011, psychologist John Pilley published what became one of the most cited papers in canine cognition. His border collie, Chaser, learned 1,022 words, not tricks. Words. She could retrieve specific objects by name from a pile of over 1,000. That's the strongest evidence we have for receptive language in any non-primate species. But Chaser was exceptional. What about your dog? A 2021 study led by Fugaza surveyed hundreds of dog owners and found something remarkable. The average dog, not a trained prodigy, just a regular family pet, responds accurately to approximately 89 unique words. That includes their name, that includes come, that includes sit. So here's the first thing to understand. When you stand in that park and call your dog's name, the problem is not comprehension. They know exactly what you said. They know exactly what you want. The problem is that they heard you, understood you, and chose not to come. That's not a failure of training. That's a decision. And decisions have reasons. But here's where it gets deeper. In 2016, neuroscientist Attila Andix and his team at Yale-Bosse-Lorand University put dogs inside fMRI scanners. What they found was extraordinary. Dogs have a dedicated brain region, specifically tuned to process human voices, and when they heard their owner's voice, that region activated faster and stronger than for any stranger, under 300 milliseconds. Before your dog even turns their head, their brain has already identified you, and it goes further. A 2014 study by Mills and colleagues discovered that dogs process your words with both sides of their brain simultaneously. The left hemisphere handles the actual words, the meaning. The right hemisphere processes something completely different. The emotion in your voice, the tension, the frustration, the warmth, both channels running at the same time. Pongrass and colleagues back in 2001 took this even further. They analyzed the specific pitch patterns in human voices that trigger approach or avoidance in dogs. High-pitched, short bursts, the kind you use when you're happy, pull your dog toward you. Low-pitched, sustained tones, the kind that come out when you're frustrated. Push them away, same word, come. Two different tones. Two completely opposite responses, so your dog isn't just hearing you. They're running a dual analysis, content on one channel, emotion on the other. And the emotional channel, Procton, Procton, Procton. Procton wins. That frustrated edge in your voice when you called them the third time, your dog heard the word come, but their brain registered. W danger. Not disobedience, signal processing. But that's only half the equation, because even if your voice is perfect, warm, inviting, high-pitched, your dog still has to make a choice. And that choice happens in a specific part of their brain. In 2012, neuroscientist Gregory Burns became the first researcher to conduct fMRI scans on fully awake, unrestrained dogs. He found the caudate nucleus, the same region that drives reward-based decisions in humans, lights up in dogs when they anticipate something good. And here's where it gets personal. Schwab and Huber, in a 2006 study, demonstrated that dogs evaluate cost and benefit in real time. Every single time you call your dog, their brain runs a calculation. What do I get if I go back? Versus what do I lose if I leave what I'm doing right now? A new scent, another dog, a particularly interesting patch of grass. If coming back to you isn't the better deal, they stay. And it gets even more sophisticated. Range and colleagues, in 2009, tested something called inequity aversion. They had two dogs perform the same task, side by side. When one dog received a better reward for the same behavior, the other dog noticed. And they didn't just feel cheated, they stopped cooperating entirely. Your dog doesn't just calculate reward, they calculate fairness. But here's the part that surprises most people. In 2016, Cook and colleagues used fMRI to compare how dogs respond to two types of reward, food and praise. Roughly 20% of the dogs tested showed a stronger caudate response to verbal praise than to food. 1 in 5 dogs would literally rather hear good boy than eat a treat, which means the reward equation isn't just about treats. It's about knowing what your specific dog values. So let's step back. When your dog ignores you at the park, this is what's actually happening inside their brain. A cost-benefit algorithm, current reward versus recall reward, weighted by fairness, adjusted for individual preference. And right now, you're losing, not because your dog is stubborn, because the math doesn't work in your favor. But it gets even more nuanced. Because your dog isn't just calculating reward, they're watching you, literally. In 2013, Brower and colleagues set up an experiment where dogs were given a command, but with one variable changed: whether or not the owner was looking. The result? Dogs disobeyed significantly more when the owner wasn't watching. They're tracking your visual attention in real time and factoring it into their decision. Teglis and colleagues in 2012 discovered something even more remarkable. Dogs can distinguish between intentional communication and incidental speech. When you say come while making eye contact, using their name with your body oriented toward them, that registers as a direct request. When you shout come while looking at your phone, that doesn't register the same way at all, same word. Completely different cognitive processing. And there's one more layer to this. In 2014, Sampi and colleagues used eye tracking technology to watch where dogs look when interacting with humans. Before responding to any command, dogs fixate on your facial expression first. They read your eyes, your mouth, your brow. They're assessing your emotional state before they decide what to do. Your dog isn't responding to a word, they're responding to you. Think about what that means. Your dog isn't a machine that processes commands. They're reading the entire context, your eyes, your expression, your posture, whether you're looking at them, whether you mean it, and only then, they choose their response. Not obedience, not defiance. Context-dependent social decision-making. The same cognitive process you use every day. But here's where the story takes a turn. Because if recall is a decision, what determines whether your dog decides to come back? In 2009, Topal and colleagues adapted the Ainsworth Strange Situation Test, originally designed for human infants, and ran it on dogs. Dogs with secure attachment styles returned to their owners faster, more reliably, and with less stress. Dogs with insecure attachment, they hesitated, they wandered, they looked conflicted, and the chemistry behind this. Handlin and colleagues, in 2011, measured oxytocin levels in both dogs and their owners before and after positive interaction. Petting, eye contact, gentle talking, both showed significant increases, the same bonding hormone, in both species. At the same time, that oxytocin loop doesn't just feel good. It forms the neurochemical foundation for voluntary cooperation. Ramos and Mills, in 2019, tested something deceptively simple. They had owners call their dogs using different emotional tones, while keeping the actual words identical. Positive emotional valence pulled dogs closer. Negative emotional valence pushed them away. The words didn't matter, the emotion did. Your dog isn't listening to what you say, they're listening to how you feel when you say it. And this is the insight most training programs miss entirely. Recall isn't a skill, it's not something you drill. It's not about repetition or consistency or the right treat. Recall is a measure of your relationship, the strength of the attachment, the quality of the bond, the emotional safety your dog feels when they're near you. That's not training, that's trust. But here's one more layer. Because this didn't happen by accident, in 2004, Virani and colleagues compared wolves and dogs on cooperative tasks. Wolves, raised by humans, socialized from birth, actually outperformed dogs on precise obedience tasks, but dogs outperformed wolves on something else entirely: social cooperation, voluntary partnership, reading human intent and choosing to participate. 15,000 years of domestication didn't create a species that obeys. It created a species that cooperates, when it wants to. And there's one more thing worth knowing. Kubini and colleagues in 2009 analyzed trainability across breeds. They found that genetics explains 60 to 70% of the variance. That means when your beagle doesn't come as fast as your neighbor's border collie, it's not because your dog is more stubborn. It's because their brains are literally structured differently. Different priorities, different reward sensitivities, different cognitive architecture. So here's the deepest layer. 15,000 years of domestication didn't create servants. It didn't create automatons that respond to commands. It created partners. Animals that evaluate context, weigh reward, read your emotions, check the strength of their bond with you, and then make a choice. Your dog's recall isn't about obedience. It's about whether the relationship is worth coming back to. So what can you actually do? Step 1, change the equation. Based on what Schwab and Hubert demonstrated, your dog runs a cost-benefit analysis every time you call. Your job is to make coming back to you the highest value option, not the same treat every time. Surprise rewards, variety, a different toy, an unexpected game. The moment your dog can predict the reward, the value drops. Keep it unpredictable, keep it worth it. Step 2, use every channel. Based on what Teglis and Pongras showed us, your dog processes multiple signals simultaneously. Call their name, make eye contact. Use an open, sideways posture, not directly facing them, which can read as confrontational. Use a high-pitched, short tone, happy, not urgent, not frustrated. You're not issuing a command, you're sending an invitation. And invitations work better when they come from someone who looks like they're having a good time. Step 3, and this is the one most people skip. Build attachment capital. Based on what Topal, Handlin, and Ramos showed us, Recall improves as a natural consequence of a stronger relationship. That means positive interactions every day, eye contact, gentle touch, calm presence, play without agenda. These moments build the oxytocin loop. They strengthen the secure base. And when recall improves, it's not because you trained harder, it's because your dog trusts more. One important note: if your dog's recall suddenly changes, if they were previously reliable and now seem completely unresponsive, pay attention. This could reflect pain that makes movement uncomfortable. It could indicate age-related hearing loss. It could be a sign of cognitive changes. If the shift is sudden and persistent, it's worth a conversation with your vet. Your job isn't to diagnose, it's to notice. So, back at the park, late afternoon, you call your dog's name. They look at you, ears up, tail paused, and turn away. But now you know something. That's not ignoring. That's a brain processing your voice through a dedicated neural region, analyzing your tone across two hemispheres, weighing the reward of coming back against the reward of staying, reading your facial expression, checking whether you're watching, measuring the strength of the bond between you, neurochemically, emotionally, and then delivering its answer. Your dog doesn't need to learn obedience. Your dog needs a good enough reason to choose to come back. And 17 studies, 6 layers of science, and 15,000 years of evolution all point to the same conclusion. The best reason isn't a treat, it's you.